Buttermilk pancake. The buttermilk pancake is the American benchmark, the version everything else is measured against. The acid in the buttermilk reacts with baking soda, producing bubbles that make the pancake rise and stay light despite its thickness. The result is tall, fluffy, and slightly tangy, with a golden exterior that forms quickly on a hot griddle. Too much mixing develops the gluten and produces something tough. The best ones are stirred just enough, with lumps left in, and cooked until the edges set and the surface bubbles before the flip. Crepe. The crepe sits at the opposite end of the spectrum from the American stack. Paper thin, wide, and delicate, cooked in a thin film of butter on a flat pan. It originated in Brittany in northwestern France, where buckwheat crepes filled with savory ingredients remain the traditional form. The sweet white flour version spread across France and eventually the world, becoming the base for crêpe Suzette, flambéed tableside in orange liqueur. The batter requires resting before cooking to relax the gluten, and most cooks accept that the first one off the pan is always a test. Blini. Blini are small Russian pancakes made from buckwheat flour and leavened with yeast rather than baking powder, which gives them a depth of flavor that chemically leavened batters cannot replicate. They have been made in Russia for centuries, with roots in pre-Christian Slavic traditions, where round foods symbolize the sun during winter festivals. Today, blini are most closely associated with caviar and sour cream, a pairing embedded in Russian celebration culture. The buckwheat gives them an earthy, nutty quality that holds up against strong toppings in a way that plain flour cannot. Okonomiyaki. Okonomiyaki is a Japanese savory pancake whose name translates roughly as cook what you like. The base is a batter of flour, grated mountain yam, dashi, and shredded cabbage, cooked on a flat iron griddle and loaded with whatever the cook chooses: seafood, pork belly, or vegetables. Two regional styles dominate. The Osaka version mixes everything together before cooking. The Hiroshima version layers ingredients separately, including noodles, built in stages on the griddle. Both are finished with a dark sweet sauce, Japanese mayonnaise, and dried bonito flakes that wave in the rising heat. Injera. Injera is a large spongy flatbread from Ethiopia and Eritrea that functions simultaneously as plate, utensil, and food. Made from teff, an ancient grain native to the Horn of Africa, and fermented for several days before cooking, the fermentation creates the characteristic bubbled surface and pronounced tang that defines it. The entire meal is served on top with stews, lentils, and spiced meat arranged across the surface, and eaten by tearing off pieces to scoop up the food. Teff is extraordinarily nutritious and has sustained the populations of the region for thousands of years. Hateok. Hateok is a Korean street food pancake filled before cooking rather than after. A yeasted dough is stuffed with brown sugar, cinnamon, and chopped nuts, then pressed flat on a griddle until the exterior turns crisp and golden while the filling melts into a hot, syrupy center. It became popular in South Korea during the late 19th century, introduced by Chinese merchants who adapted their own dough-based snacks to local tastes. It is one of the most recognizable winter street foods in Korean cities, and burning the roof of your mouth on the molten filling is something most Koreans have done at least once. Ployee. Ployee is a buckwheat pancake from the Acadian communities of New Brunswick in Canada and the border regions of Maine, and it carries a cultural significance that goes well beyond its recipe. It is cooked on one side only. The bottom sets while the top stays soft and foamy from the steam rising through the batter. No flip. The result has a firm base and a pale, porous surface unlike any other pancake. Traditionally served with butter, maple syrup, or molasses, ployee is almost entirely unknown outside Acadian communities, which makes it one of the quieter culinary treasures of North America.